We're diving into events characterized not just by physical disappearances, but by the inexplicable, utter absence of official data. I am so excited to guide you through this, because when you lay these data points out side by side, the patterns are, honestly, absolutely stunning. Now, the contrast here is just staggering. Think about our oceans for a second. We're talking over 1,000 ships, 75 aircraft, and thousands of people vanishing without a single trace. Massive, physical disappearances right here on Earth. But then, jump 238,000 miles away into deep space, and the disappearances become digital. We're talking 40 absolutely crucial minutes of missing, erased footage from humanity's final trip to the moon. Today, we're exploring the wild connection between these massive physical vanishings on our home planet and the sudden digital vanishings out in space. So to really wrap our heads around this, we have to talk about anomalies. By definition, anomaly is just a deviation from the common rule. But for us, in the context of this explainer, the most striking feature of these specific events is the deliberate silence. It's the stark, undeniable absence of official government records. You know, sometimes it's the blank spaces in the ledger that speak the loudest.
Our first major anomaly takes us straight to the Atlantic Ocean, the Bermuda Triangle. It's a massive 500,000 square mile area bordered by Miami, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. To put that staggering scale into perspective, that is a vast, expansive stretch of deep, churning water where entire crews just cease to exist. No wreckage, no distress signals, literally no bodies, nothing.
And the disappearances here aren't a new phenomenon. They go back centuries. Even in 1492, Christopher Columbus, who, let's be real, was maybe the original Bermuda Triangle truther, documented strange compass failures and literally saw a fireball drop into the ocean in this exact region. Fast forward to 1918. The USS Cyclops, which was a 540-foot Navy cargo ship, leaves Barbados in perfect weather and vanishes with 309 men. Zero explanation. Then, December 1945, Flight 19. 5 U.S. Navy bombers are on a totally routine training mission, again, in perfect weather. The lead pilot radios in that his compass is malfunctioning, and he says, and this is a direct quote, "Everything looks wrong. Even the ocean doesn't look as it should." All 5 planes vanished. The rescue plane they sent to find them, it vanished too. 27 men, 6 aircraft, just gone in a single afternoon. And the Navy's official conclusion? Cause unknown.
Now, science does step in with some violent, incredibly intense theories for these events. Researchers point out that methane hydrates beneath the ocean floor can actually release massive gas bubbles. These bubbles instantly reduce water density, which would sink a ship without any warning whatsoever. Oceanographers have even mapped half-mile-wide, perfectly circular craters created by catastrophic methane explosions, and some of those formed just in the last few hundred years. Add to that hexagonal clouds capable of generating 170-mile-per-hour air blasts and magnetic anomalies that cause severe compass failures, well, it's enough to disorient absolutely any pilot.
But this brings us right to the crux of our ocean mystery. Because while science can totally explain sudden sinkings or compass failures, those scientific models fall completely flat when it comes to the other stuff. They do not explain time distortion, they do not explain aircraft vanishing into thin air, and they definitely don't explain ships that suddenly reappear days later, completely empty, completely undamaged, with the autopilot still engaged. The contradictions there, they just don't add up.
And here's where we hit a really incredible contradiction from official bodies. The US government and massive institutions like Lloyd's of London publicly state that the Bermuda Triangle is statistically normal. Okay, sure. Yet insurance companies still charge higher premiums for ships passing through this exact zone. I mean, you don't charge more for something you genuinely believe is normal, right? Plus, the US Navy maintains classified files on triangle incidents dating all the way back to the 1940s. When people pulled these files through Freedom of Information Act requests, entire sections are permanently blacked out. Ask yourself, why heavily redact files on a quote-unquote statistically normal stretch of water?
You know, it really helps to remember our own limitations here. As of right now, we have mapped just 20% of the world's oceans. That means a massive 80% remains entirely unknown. So whatever is happening beneath the Bermuda Triangle, whatever is triggering those active explosive methane craters, it's all occurring in the absolute dark.
80%. Just let that massive number sink in for a second. The vast majority of our own planet is an absolute mystery to us. We have active, inexplicable physical vanishings happening right here on Earth, cloaked by an ocean we barely even understand, and it's all met with redacted files and a total lack of any transparent, formal government investigation.
And that creates a truly fascinating narrative bridge for us, because we see missing physical evidence and blacked out files in our deepest oceans. But what happens when the mystery is 238,000 miles away? What happens when the anomaly isn't a vanishing ship, but vanishing data from the most powerful space agency in human history?
Let's look at Apollo 17, December 1972, the very last time human beings walked on the moon. NASA officially stated this was a totally routine scientific mission, that everything went off without a hitch, and that the footage captured was complete and fully released to the public. But researchers who have spent years painstakingly cross-referencing NASA's own mission transcripts against the released footage point out something deeply uncomfortable. They found documented gaps in the official record.
So let's break down the sequence of these gaps, because it's wild. NASA's own mission transcript logs show continuous communication and activity. Yet, for 40 minutes of that recorded communication, there is zero corresponding footage. It has never seen the light of day. And during one of these visual gaps, the transcript actually shows both astronauts speaking in clipped, really urgent tones, making references to anomalous readings and something they describe only as the object at grid reference. Then, immediately following that, a 4-minute absolute communication blackout, which NASA officially logged as just technical interference. To put that into perspective, in the entire history of the Apollo missions, unexplained communication blackouts were logged exactly twice, and both of them happened right here, during Apollo 17.
Decades later, the commander of Apollo 17, Eugene Cernan, literally the last man to ever walk on the moon, spent the final years of his life making this incredibly dramatic public statement. I'm going to read it to you exactly as it's written. I believe humans are not alone in the universe. Certain information gathered during Apollo missions was never released to the public. He never elaborated. He didn't have to. The statement alone is just extraordinary. And NASA? They never officially responded to it.
But the plot thickens even more when we look at the physical and digital evidence that was seemingly just erased. Harrison Schmitt, who is the only actual scientist to walk on the moon, reported unusual orange soil formations that completely contradicted existing models of lunar geology. NASA ended up changing its explanation for this 3 separate times over the next decade. Then, fast forward to 2006, NASA officially admits that the original high-quality footage from Apollo 11 was accidentally erased. They called it a storage error. Naturally, researchers immediately asked about Apollo 17, and NASA confirmed that Apollo 17's original telemetry data was also affected by these exact same storage issues. So the footage we have today? It's not original. It's literally a copy of recordings that, according to official statements, simply no longer exist.
And right after Apollo 17, missions 18, 19, and 20 were just abruptly canceled. Officially, the agency claimed this was due to budget cuts. However, internal NASA documents released decades later reveal that discussions to cancel these missions actually started well before those budget decisions were finalized. Something changed the timeline, and to this day, nobody has officially said what. The entire program just came to a grinding halt.
50. It's been over 50 years since December 1972, half a century since humanity's last visit to the moon. I mean, we went there 6 times in rapid succession, and then we just stopped. The silence of that abandoned program really speaks for itself, doesn't it?
So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is how these two massive mysteries connect. Whether we are staring into the unmapped depths of the Atlantic Ocean or looking up at the silent, dusty craters of the moon, we see a very distinct common thread. We see massive, completely unexplainable physical and digital disappearances. We see carefully worded official narratives that harbor stark, glaring contradictions. And above all, we see a consistent lack of transparent, formal investigations. Honestly, whether it's blacked out Navy files regarding vanished ships or conveniently erased telemetry data from a lunar blackout, the overarching theme here is a deliberate, orchestrated silence.
From the crushing depths of the Bermuda Triangle, right up to the void of space during Apollo 17's missing 40 minutes, the evidence points to a rather startling reality. The gaps in the records are just too specific and too consistent to be mere accidents. It leaves researchers wondering, what exactly was found down there in the oceans or up there on the moon that resulted in these massive data blackouts?